All right, 22 to 5. Now, our next guest has written a letter to the Victorian Premier, Daniel Andrews. It's on behalf of personal trainers across Victoria. He says that personal trainers haven't been able to work pretty much since the 23rd of March. He says that personal trainers can have a COVID-safe plan for them to return to work indoors. And he said that people who do train others like this should be reclassified as an essential service under the same category as physiotherapy, myotherapy, osteopathic care and other allied health services. Our next guest, personal trainer and founder of Enterprise Fitness, Mark Otterbury. Good afternoon.
G'day, thanks for having me on.
It's quite a big claim to say that, you know, you're a health professional who deals with people's physical and mental health. Do you think the personal trainers are the same as, say, physiotherapists or myotherapists?
Yeah, so one thing I probably should outline is that allied health has been able to go back to work. So what that does cover is your psychologist, physiotherapist, exercise physiologist, but it doesn't actually cover myotherapists, personal trainers and naturopaths. So the argument is appointment-based businesses, such as personal training, myotherapy, naturopathy, really does fall under the broad spectrum of the way they practice is very similar to a physio. I know numerous physios who are right now practicing inside of gyms. And then the argument needs to be made with physios and also chiros who are able to work right now. Myotherapists certainly aren't able to work, neither are personal trainers, but there is a lot of similarities in the allied health network that we're all a part of. And ultimately, as an allied health network, we're referring to each other for the betterment of our clients who come and see us. And at a time where there is such rampant problems with mental health and there is such awareness with mental health, personal trainers are the front line of mental health, in that when someone feels down, they feel depressed or anxiety, the first thought isn't usually, I'm going to go to a psychologist or I'm going to go to counselling. It usually is, and we see them all the time, I want to get in shape, I'm going to eat the right food, I'm going to start exercising. Then as they start losing weight, they start feeling better, and that's where the gateway with their personal trainer, that's where the gateway of allied health comes open, and we're able to refer. I mean, here at our studio, we've got a very broad and diverse network of allied health professionals, from hypnotherapists to psychologists to physiotherapists. But it comes back down to what I said before, which is it's the way we practice. The way we practice is not dissimilar to what physios are doing right now and exercise physiologists, which under the allied health services, they're actually allowed to work.
Yeah. But I mean, at the moment, I believe a personal trainer can work, but outdoors. I think the government's big issue is more they want to limit the amount of things you can do indoors. For example, there's this plan that's been leaked to small businesses about how to reopen, and amongst other things, it says if you are going to hold meetings with your staff, try and hold them outdoors. I think that the state government's real issue is indoors versus outdoors. Now, personal trainers can train, I forget what the rule is at the moment, but you can train a limited number of people outdoors. Really, it's not personal training per se, but it's the indoor-outdoor thing, which I think causes the government problems.
That's a great point. It's come up often. To that, I would say I would definitely argue that indoors is actually, in personal training, safer than your outdoors, and I'll tell you why. Indoors, we have absolute control over the environment, from putting out settings on our flooring to make sure that everyone is staying 1.5 meters apart, to having a big hand sanitizer unit, to making sure our ground is level. The other thing that we run up into the issue of is the weather. And unfortunately, I've seen many trainers and many clients who are desperate for this service, desperate for the mental health benefits, desperate to get back in shape, and just desperate to connect with someone. They're out in the rain. Melbourne isn't known for its sunshine and awesome weather. They're out in the rain, they're getting rained on, which is a further impact to their immune system, and then they risk catching a cold.
Yeah.
So we're at this, I suppose, stalemate of what's the alternative. The alternative is trainers are desperate for money at this point. It's an industry that's on their knees. They're going to go out and wander in the rain and do it in more dangerous settings, where if we can bring it indoors, we can control the environment. We've got all the hand sanitizer unit. We've got the best contact tracing, bar none, of any industry. We could tell you right now who's going to come into our studio a week ahead of time.
Yeah, okay.
And we know their names, numbers. Yep.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, although doing stuff outdoors, we think is something we're going to have to get used to. I mean, we're told to have meetings outdoors, to train outdoors, to eat outdoors, so maybe nothing will happen indoors. Now, the Premier says he's got quite a few things to announce this coming Sunday. Do you think you'll get any love from him?
I certainly hope so. but I'm not sure. I mean, it's purely speculative at this point. I know he's quoted data. All the data that we have empirically shows that gyms are actually one of the safest, and personal training, even further, is one of the safest environments. And in saying that, places like Canada, they had their gyms the first to open, last to close, and they found zero outbreaks. And you just don't even have to go internationally. You can look at New South Wales in that 8-week period. They analysed over 500 gyms, and they found over 7 million check-ins with not one reported case of community transmission. And I'm not even talking about gyms at this point. I'm talking about personal training, which is an appointment-based studio. So I'd certainly hope that myos, naturopaths, and personal trainers, the ones that have been forgotten, appointment-based businesses. I think all appointment-based businesses are able to get back to work because the community needs us more than ever now.
Okay, well, good luck. Let's see what's announced on Sunday. Mark Otterbury there, personal trainer, founder of Enterprise Fitness and author of this quite long letter to the Premier, Daniel Andrews, saying that they are health professionals, they do a lot of good things for people's mental and physical well-being, and that they should be allowed to get back to work.